Hello.
Hello, it's Rob and Sue, obviously.
Chateau Our Venture.
We are getting ready for our next big summer trip, which will last about 8 weeks long. We are going from Seattle all the way to Maine and back. So we are getting ready this week because we leave on Saturday in about 6 days. So we just wanted to share with you how we're getting ready for a long trip when normally we are weekenders.
So with Susan being a teacher, she gets the summer break off, and I have to continue working, so I bring along the Starlink and my laptop, and I can do that, and it worked out last year. So we have our fingers crossed for this year. So far what we've done is we've had the oil change, we've checked the tires, done major things like that. We took the RV out 3 times. The first 2 times just to kind of find out what we didn't have in the RV and then what we had to bring back out. And then this trip is mostly about bringing our clothes and things and kind of getting it set up for next week. We are planners, so we can't do things last minute. So for us, this is last minute. We're like chomping at the bit. Right now, if you can hear it, we're running the generator and the AC. We have to run that at least once a month in order to keep the generator in good shape. And you want to make sure you run it under a load, which is why we have the AC on, even though it's only like 60 degrees in here.
57.
Yeah. It'll only work for another 2 degrees.
It's a little chilly.
It's a little chilly. What have you done, or what have you been doing on this trip?
Other than keeping mental checklist in my head, I'm bringing back my clothing bins because I'm going to pack them at home. Rob brought his clothes here today, so he's fairly well packed up.
Yeah, I just realized I was only missing things like a pair of jeans. I don't have a pair of jeans in here, so that would help to have. I'll probably be wearing jeans when we leave because it'll still be fairly chilly, that sort of thing.
Hopefully.
I went around and I lubed up the steps, I lubed up the windows.
And then the only other thing I can think of that I've done is I pre-cooked some food and it's at home in the freezer. And I do that mostly because on our single night travel days, Rob's not going to pull out the Blackstone to cook. So we just want things that are quick and easy. I can just heat it up on the stove. Last summer, we ended up doing a lot of tacos, which is actually good. We did pulled pork tacos. We did beef tacos. This year, I pre-cooked and shredded some chicken, so we'll have that. I pre-cooked some tricolor pasta, so we can have pasta salad. And I just kind of do that because big things are harder to cook in the RV because I don't have a super big pot for them. I was debating whether or not to bring my kind of medium-sized crock pot. I don't think I'm going to because it's been such a debate in my head. It doesn't seem like I really have a good plan for it, and it's just...
And the amount of space it takes up.
Yeah, it's one more thing to move back and forth every time we're on the road. And even though, yes, I am a teacher, I have a online workshop for 4 days the second week we're out. So I've kind of planned our trip around that to hopefully facilitate it. I'll be using the Starlink. And then I got a plan all summer for next year, which I didn't do last summer, and I regretted it this summer. So summer is off, but it's not.
You're still working.
I'll still be doing some work.
The other major change we made is last summer it was our first time on a major trip, and we followed a lot of people's rules of like only drive for 3 hours, that sort of thing. But we found is because of the distance we were traveling, we were doing a ton of just single nights. So it was constantly tear down, drive, set up, tear down, drive, set up, tear down, drive, set up, and it got to be a bit much.
It was tiring.
It was tiring. And after 3 hours in this vehicle, it really isn't anything.
Well, what we learned is we're used to doing road trips because that's partly why we got into RVing, because we would do long road trips anyway. And we're comfortable driving 6, 7, maybe 8 hours at a time. Last summer, what we started doing was swapping off every 2 hours. So Rob would drive for 2, we'd stop, we'd stretch our legs, I would drive. So we're going to do more of that this year.
And that worked out really well. Like,
it did.
When you're driving for just 2 hours at a time, and then you're reading your book or doing whatever you're doing to keep yourself busy, scrolling, doom scrolling, the drives go fairly quickly, and it's not tiring.
And we have podcasts that we listen to, and that helped the time go fast as well. So I basically plan out the trip on RV Life Trip Wizard, which is not a sponsor. And I'll show you that when I tie it into this video. But you can set your distance that you want to travel in a day, and it'll give you a circumference, and it's very easy to plan your stages of driving. What I also did, which I'll share, is I made a spreadsheet because we didn't have any real idea of costs last summer. Trip Wizard will give you an estimate, but I kept a spreadsheet and I tracked when we filled up, how many gallons, what was the cost. I kept track of where we stayed, how many nights, what was the cost. When we added propane, I didn't include DEF, which I might do this summer. And I also included any excursions that we paid extra for. I did not track groceries and eating out because we would do that anyway, so whatever. So I planned our trip this summer. Like I said, we're going to go out from Seattle to Acadia National Park in Maine, visit some family in New York, and then make our way back. And because last summer we learned that those single night stops tended to be kind of exhausting after a while, I tried to plan it so we had no more than 2 single night stops, and then we would be somewhere for 3 or 4 nights. So I'm hoping that stretched it out a bit more to make it less cumbersome, basically. The other thing was last summer we paid to stay at a lot of campgrounds, RV resorts, that sort of thing, and that can add up the cost quite quickly.
Big time.
Yeah. This summer we are staying in the national parks that we're visiting. You do have to pay. A lot of those, however, don't have hookups. So we did practice boondocking for 2 nights, basically a weekend, just to see how our battery lasts, because we don't have extensive batteries and extensive solar yet. So we'll be doing that. And then the 1 night stops, I pretty much planned for boondocking as well. And that's really going to depend on the weather. Last summer, our first night, we made it to Oregon and it was like 104 degrees. Thankfully, we were staying at a campground with full hookups because we needed the AC. So
that's the biggest concern with boondocking, is having AC at night so that Susan is comfortable. We can run the AC during the day while we're boondocking, but most places you don't want to run the generator and disturb other people at night while you're trying to sleep.
Right. And last summer we went from Seattle to Florida and back. So I'm hoping this summer, by staying up north, we don't have temperature extremes. So we will see. Last summer, we also stayed in Yellowstone in July, and the temps dropped to the 30s at night. So we have warm weather clothes anyway, because the majority of our camping is in the Pacific Northwest.
It's usually chilly.
Yeah, so keep that in mind. Depending on where you're going, you might need to have some warm clothing on hand in case you have some cooler temperatures.
So as far as the boondocking goes, what we have as our setup came with the RV. It's a 100-watt solar panel on the roof and a 100 amp hour battery down below. I started to look into what it would cost to put in 2 more 200 watt panels up top, add another battery. We had to increase our controller from a 10 amp controller. I think they wanted to go up to like a 60 amp controller. And it was something like just shy of $3,000, which was more than we wanted to spend on an upgrade, at least right now. So we tested out boondocking, and what we found is that our battery lasts just fine through a night. We only use maybe about 20%, maybe 30% of the battery. It will recharge during the day with the solar panel. And if the solar panel doesn't get it quite there. We found out the solar panel only replaces maybe
30%?
at most. I want to
Yeah.
say closer to 15, but whatever it is, it doesn't fill up the battery. So what we plan to do is run the generator if it gets to the point where the battery is getting low to charge it all the way back up. And running the generator is much cheaper than $3,000 of panels. Now, granted, we also have a gas cooktop, and I'll be cooking on the Blackstone, which is gas, so we don't have a whole lot that's electric in here. The only kind of pain is we won't be able to plug things in to our outlets because those aren't powered on the 12-volt battery. So we have a battery like a Jackery battery so that we can plug in laptops and things like that. And the Jackery battery itself comes with its own 200-watt solar panel to charge that up during the day. So we'll be giving all of those things a try this year.
Yeah, we can plug in, we have USB ports, a few of them around the RV. We can't plug in electrical outlets when we're running off of our battery. We don't have enough power for that. But
Well, that, and it doesn't actually. So the electrical panel, to get technical, is split up into two sides, a 110 side and then a 12-volt side. The 12-volt side is your lights and your USBs and things like that. 110 is all of your outlets. So even if we had everything set up for more power, it isn't set up right now to power the full panel. It only powers half of it. So.
you know the Charlie Brown cartoons with the teacher? Wah, 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 wah. Rob gets technical, like, woo-doo-doo-doo. So I'm curious to see how we do when we're boondocking for 3 or 4 nights instead of just a weekend. But I think it'll be fun. I do have basically every step planned out because I've learned that it's stressful for me to try to find it last minute. We don't have reservations for every stop. We basically have reservations for the national parks because those will book up. One of them in particular was a little challenging to book, but we got it in the end. I've mapped out Harvest Host or places to, stop overnight like a truck stop. We don't have reservations yet. Those I will call the day before, just in case our plans have a little bit of some variation to them.
And what is that app we're going to try out this year that if there's a cancellation, they'll let you know?
RV, ARVIE. But I don't think we need that at the moment.
Oh, so we did. So the
Yeah.
problem was when we were trying to get one of the national parks, we had to book outside of the national park, and we were having trouble getting inside the national park. So this app called RV lets you know when there's cancellation so that you can try and jump on it and pick up that spot.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a hopeful thing.
Yeah. The only other thing I did is we're going to be camping on Long Island to visit my family, and we're traveling from the north. So I did book a ferry from Connecticut to Long Island because that'll save us from having to go all the way through the city. So that I was able to do 1 month in advance. So
That'll save us most of a day's drive. But good Lord, ferries are not cheap on an RV.
it was
When you're driving in your car, it's like, oh, here's $25.
it was $160 for this
sweet-
ferry, and I think it's an hour and a half on the ferry. So, it's saving us a drive.
It'll save us a ton of time.
It's
and
saving us the aggravation of going through the city.
For us, it was worth it.
Yeah, and we've never done a ferry with an RV before, so that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Other than that, from last year to this year, last year we were pretty well prepared because we're over preparers and we've actually started getting rid of some things that we learned we don't need. The only other thing is I just started to personalize the RV a little bit more. So I've just got a couple extra decorations. We've got some pictures in the back from last summer. I'll show you those. And that's really it. We were pretty well set up last summer. And now we're just excited to hit the road. There's less of the questions and
Less
worry.
anxiety.
Yeah. And now we're just excited to go and ready to go and looking forward to taking you with us.
I mean, by the time we left last year, I think we had only taken the RV out 4 times, maybe.
Probably for weekends.
So I was still nervous about things like putting out the sanitary hose and making the electrical connections, and if I had the proper connections to make electrical connections, oh, my hoses, am I got enough filters, all of those types of things. This year we're like, okay, we got that.
Yeah. So the only other thing that is on my mind for this summer, Rob may have to fly to Florida. So if that happens, then I have to be prepared to do all of the outside and inside and possibly move us to our next stop. So we're just going to start this summer, and I'm going to be doing what he normally does with him just so I get super comfortable and familiar. I had to do it last summer a little bit on the fly because he injured his arm, and he talked me through things, which if you've been married for a while,
It's fun.
that can be a challenge.
Oh, yeah.
We explain things differently. But
You know you're really in trouble when the other person is explaining things very slowly. Someone's about to snap.
or when someone expects you to be a mind reader and know, take the thing and put the thing there.
Oh, everybody knows what the thing
What
is.
thing where?
That thing.
Yeah. So
Over there.
I'll be doing more of that this summer because I just want to be super comfortable in case that happens, because I have not gone out by myself. He's driven out during the day by himself to take care of some things. I have not. So,
We're also going to
once
remake.
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're also going to remake our checklists. So just so that we have those around.
Well, it would help if we took it out and looked at it, because we don't, but we
Well-
have one.
I'm saying if we redo it, then there'll be less stress on you if I have to take off for a week. You can pull it out and just go through the checklist.
That's true. That is true.
Oh, I was right about something.
The only other thing that I've been thinking about is the Hanks, if you watch the Hanks channel, they had recommended putting all of your list of medications and dosages, have it spelled out in case there was an emergency. You can just give whoever that information. And we did that. And because I'm a teacher and I have access to a laminator, but my medications have changed. So I'm going to have to update that if I'm smart and get that done this week. But I think that's it. I think we are excited and ready to go. Bella doesn't know what's happening yet, but she probably suspects. And yeah, I think that's really it.
Well, so on top of our leaving, Susan loves to do a spring cleaning of the apartment just before we leave so that when she comes back, there's not much to do. Not that you have to do any of it, but we have to do it.
Okay. Teachers will understand that I pretty much now clean 2 or 3 times a year. Christmas break, beginning of summer, end of summer, because the rest of the year I'm fried. It's been a while since we have cleaned sufficiently, and the last weekend we went out, I was a bit rushed and I didn't have time to like do the dishes and all that kind of stuff, and it's just gross when you come back. So I don't want to deal with that when I come back. I want to come back, set our stuff down, put a load of laundry in, and then just kind of chillax for a little bit.
But we're not talking about dishes. We're talking about dusting and mopping and doing like
Well,
a
'cause
true spring
I
cleaning.
we haven't done it in a while. So we need to do it.
I'm just saying that on top of getting ready to go, we add this other layer of difficulty because we are pros.
Whatever. All right, is that it? Because
think
I'm
that's it.
freezing under the AC.
Yeah, I think it's about time to shut the generator off.
All right. So I'll share those things with you in this video, and by the time you see it, we will be on the road. So please like, please subscribe, and if you have any questions or comments, share them with us because we're still learning.
We don't even know how to check the comments yet, but we'll figure that out.
I do.
Oh. We don't. So we'll take a look at that.
One of us is more tech savvy than the other.
Yes.
He might know all the technical terms. I know the practical applications.
Now we're stretching credulity. Okay.
All right. We'll see ya. So this is the spreadsheet I created for last summer's trip. So I have the month, the date of the month, so our trip started on June 8th. I recorded every time we purchased gas, what the cost was per gallon, and to be honest, I don't remember if this was before or after discounts. I'm going to assume it was before. How many gallons we purchased, when we bought propane, how many gallons of propane, and then where we stayed, how much we spent total, and then the average cost per night. Plus, I did any major excursions, and I also did laundry, because you'd be surprised how much laundry could cost. So, last summer, we started June 6th, and we ended on August 3rd or 4th, it looks like. We spent $2,008 in gas, which would be diesel. The average cost was $3.78 a gallon, and we purchased roughly 515 gallons. The total on propane was $73.80, and we bought 19 gallons roughly. Our total cost for RV resorts and campgrounds was $3,018.43, with an average of $54 a night. So now, last summer, we went from Seattle to Florida, and the very first day we were on the road going through Oregon, it was 104 degrees. And it was also our first time ever traveling long term. So, we kind of played it safe and just stayed in resorts where we would have hookups. So this summer, I'm hoping to cut this down quite a bit now that we know a little bit more about what we're doing. We spent just over $1,200 on excursions, $56 for laundry, for a grand total of $6,302.40. So that shocked me when I first saw that number climbing, and then Rob reminded me we would spend that much for like a week or two if we went to Paris. And we were out on the road for 2 months, basically. So that's it for our spreadsheet last summer. I have to create a new one for this summer, and we're already on night 2 of boondocking. Last summer, the only time we boondocked was at my parents' and at Rob's dad's. So every other night last summer, we paid something. So this summer, we're testing it out to see how we can do with some boondocking thrown in there to help minimize costs. Now, this total also does not include costs for food, because I figured I'd have to go grocery shopping anyway, and we would eat out anyway. So I didn't bother counting food. So that's it. So we'll see if we can minimize this total expense for this summer.